You are likely avoiding a specific biological function because you have been told it drains your energy, or perhaps you feel it is simply not necessary now that you are over the age of 60. You might even believe that retaining your fluids will help shrink an enlarged prostate or preserve your testosterone levels. I am here to tell you that this belief is not only scientifically incorrect, but it could be turning your prostate into a toxic reservoir of inflammation and calcification. There is a mechanism in your body designed to flush out carcinogens and stagnation. But if you do not use it correctly, or if you use it without the proper nutritional support, you are accelerating the aging of your reproductive system. Today we are going to discuss the medical reality of manual release, or masturbation, after the age of 60, and why the use it or lose it adage is actually a prescription for survival, provided you follow the specific protocol I am about to give you. My name is Dr. Emily Carter, and I am a board-certified urologist with 25 years of experience treating men's health issues. In my clinic, I do not rely on superficial advice. I look at the biochemistry of the male body to understand what actually drives vitality and longevity. I have seen thousands of patients, and I have noticed a dangerous trend where men are unknowingly sabotaging their prostate health by ignoring their body's need for regular drainage. Let me tell you about a patient of mine named William. William came to me at the age of 64. He was a disciplined man, very health conscious, and he had read on various internet forums that in order to maintain his masculinity and energy levels, he should practice complete retention. He had not had any sexual activity or manual release for over 8 months. He believed he was doing the right thing. However, when he walked into my office, he was miserable. He was waking up 5 times a night to urinate. His stream was weak, his pelvic floor was tight and painful, and his PSA levels were slowly creeping up into the danger zone. William thought he was preserving his essence. In reality, he was creating a stagnant swamp within his own body. The fluids that are meant to flow and cleanse were sitting still, becoming concentrated with toxins and inflammatory markers. This is a condition we often refer to as congestive prostatitis, and it is entirely preventable. But the solution was not just to tell William to start releasing again. That would be irresponsible, because at 64, his body does not recover the same way it did at 24. We had to put him on a specific protocol to ensure that every time he achieved release, he was also replenishing the vital nutrients he lost. To understand why William was suffering, we must first identify the enemies. The first enemy is what I call prostatic stagnation. Your prostate is a gland that produces fluid. This fluid is rich in citrate, enzymes, and zinc. Its purpose is to mix with sperm and protect it. If you do not ejaculate, your body does break down and reabsorb some of these cells, but the fluid itself can accumulate in the prostatic ducts. Think of your prostate like a filter in a pool. If you never backwash the filter, the debris builds up. This accumulation can lead to the formation of corpora amylacea, which are small, calcified stones within the prostate ducts. These stones cause inflammation, and inflammation is the root cause of benign prostatic hyperplasia, and, eventually, cellular mutations that can lead to cancer. William was not protecting his prostate by abstaining. He was allowing it to calcify. The second enemy is the misunderstanding of zinc depletion. This is where the contrarian view is essential. While release is necessary to clear stagnation, the act of ejaculation is chemically expensive for a man over 60. Prostate fluid contains the highest concentration of zinc of any soft tissue in the human body. Zinc is the guardian of your DNA. It prevents tumor growth and regulates apoptosis, which is the programmed death of bad cells. Every time you release, you lose a significant amount of zinc. If you are a younger man, you can bounce back quickly. But if you are over 60 and your absorption is compromised, and you start increasing your frequency of release without increasing your intake of zinc, you are stripping your prostate of its immune shield. This is why some men feel exhausted or drained after the act. It is not a loss of energy in a spiritual sense. It is a literal loss of minerals. The third enemy is pelvic floor hypertonicity. This occurs when you have the urge or the arousal, but you suppress it, or you practice what is called edging without release. This causes the muscles of the pelvic floor to remain in a state of high tension for prolonged periods. For a man over 60, this tension cuts off blood flow to the prostate. Without blood flow, antibiotics cannot reach the gland if there is an infection, and white blood cells cannot do their job to clean up debris. William had a rigid pelvic floor because he was constantly suppressing his natural biological functions. Now that we have identified the enemies, we must look at the heroes. The scientific community has provided us with compelling data, most notably a study from Harvard University that followed nearly 30,000 men for 18 years. They found that men who ejaculated 21 times or more per month had a 31% lower risk of prostate cancer compared to men who ejaculated 4 to 7 times per month. That is a massive statistical difference. The mechanism is the prostate purge. By regularly clearing the ducts, you are removing potential carcinogens that may accumulate in the fluid. Another hero is oxytocin. This is the hormone released during climax. For men over 60, cortisol, the stress hormone, is a major driver of inflammation and testosterone suppression. Oxytocin is the natural antidote to cortisol. It lowers blood pressure, induces deep sleep, and reduces systemic inflammation. By denying himself this release, William was keeping his cortisol levels chronically high, which further irritated his prostate. The final hero is the concept of fresh turnover. Your body is designed to produce fresh cells and fresh fluid. When you signal to your body that the reproductive system is still in use, it prioritizes blood flow and nutrient delivery to that area. Use it or lose it is a biological reality. If you stop using the machinery, the body will stop maintaining it, leading to atrophy and fibrosis. So, how do we reconcile this? You need the release to prevent cancer and stagnation, but the release drains you of the very nutrients you need to fight aging. This is where most doctors fail you. They simply say do it more or do it less. I am saying you must do it with a protocol. This brings us to the prostate preservation and reload protocol. This is the exact system I gave to William. Step 1 is the frequency calibration. For a man over 60, aiming for 21 times a month might be unrealistic or even exhausting. We do not want to cause fatigue. I recommend a maintenance schedule of 2 to 3 times per week. This is sufficient to keep the ducts clear and prevent stagnation without causing excessive mineral depletion. Step 2 is the zinc reload. You must never separate the act of release from the act of nutrition. If you are sexually active or practicing manual release, you must take a high-quality zinc picolinate or zinc bisglycinate supplement. I prescribed William 30 milligrams of zinc bisglycinate daily. Do not use zinc oxide, as it is poorly absorbed. This ensures that your prostate always has a full reserve of its primary defense mineral, even after you have flushed the system. Step 3 is the hydration flush. You must drink at least 500 milliliters of water immediately after release. The prostate sits right next to the bladder. Concentrated urine can irritate the prostate. By hydrating immediately, you ensure that you urinate soon after, which helps to flush out any bacteria that might have entered the urethra and further relaxes the pelvic floor muscles. Step 4 is the consumption of prostate superfoods to support the reloading process. I instructed William to eat a handful of pumpkin seeds every single day. Pumpkin seeds are nature's prostate pill. They are rich in zinc, phytosterols, and magnesium. Additionally, I added pomegranate juice to his diet, specifically 4 ounces a day. Pomegranate improves nitric oxide levels, which enhances blood flow to the pelvic region, ensuring that the prostate receives the oxygen it needs to repair itself after activity. Step 5 is timed relaxation. Do not perform this act when you are rushed or stressed. High adrenaline during release constricts the smooth muscles of the prostate, leading to incomplete emptying. You must be in a state of parasympathetic dominance, relaxed and calm, to allow the prostate to empty completely. We also need to talk about synergy and sabotage. What enhances this protocol? Physical movement. A sedentary lifestyle is the enemy of the prostate. Sitting for hours compresses the perineum and reduces blood flow. I told William to walk for 20 minutes every evening. This simple act of walking massages the internal organs and improves pelvic circulation. What sabotages the protocol? Alcohol. Alcohol is a direct toxin to the prostate tissue. It causes the tissue to swell. If you drink alcohol and then attempt to release, you are forcing a swollen gland to contract, which causes microtrauma. I advised William to eliminate alcohol completely for 6 weeks to allow the inflammation to subside. Another saboteur is sugar. High blood sugar destroys the nerves that control the bladder and prostate. If you want to save your manhood, you must cut the refined sugars. Now, let us look at the timeline and what you can expect if you follow this advice. In the first week, you might notice a slight increase in libido as your body realizes the system is back online. You may also notice that your urine stream feels slightly stronger. By week 3, the brain fog or fatigue that some men feel after release should vanish because your zinc levels are stable. The anti-inflammatory effect of the pumpkin seeds and pomegranate will begin to shrink the swollen tissues. By week 6, we saw a dramatic change in William. He returned to my clinic for a follow-up. He reported that he was only waking up once per night to use the bathroom, down from 5 times. His pelvic pain was gone. We ran his blood work, and his PSA had dropped by nearly 1 point. This is significant. By allowing his prostate to drain regularly and supporting it with the right biochemistry, he reversed the congestion that was making him sick. He felt more confident, his energy was stable, and he no longer feared that he was hurting himself. He realized that his body was designed to function, not to rust. So, here is my challenge to you. For the next 30 days, I want you to abandon the guilt and the myths. Adopt the maintenance schedule of release 2 to 3 times per week. But, crucially, pair it with 30 milligrams of zinc bisglycinate and a daily serving of pumpkin seeds. Hydrate aggressively. Do not let stagnation become your silent killer. Your prostate needs to breathe. It needs to flow, and it needs to be fed. If you are over 60, your health is not a game of chance. It is a game of strategy. You have the tools now to play it and win. My name is Dr. Emily Carter, and I want you to prioritize your vitality. Thank you for watching. Stay healthy.